And we are back with President Connie Book. So we've seen you all over Elon sporting events. I want to take a moment to discuss athletics and academics working together on a college campus and how the two worlds kind of coexist and build each other up. So how has Elon been able to find success both academically but also athletically on the court and on the field?
I do think you've said something important, and that is that you talk about academics and athletics, and that's why we say student athletes. And first is student, because the primary mission of Elon University is to provide an education. But I like the student athlete aspect of the athlete because they are in the middle of leadership development as student athletes, you know, on the field and off the field, because they have to execute a lot of personal leadership in not only having excellence in the classroom, but having excellence on the field, being a good teammate, working to balance a really challenging schedule, lots of games and travel. So I've always been really excited and proud of our student athletes. I tell you what else that I've really enjoyed is watching our coaches.
Yeah.
You know, our coaches really do provide such great leadership. Like I went to the Duke game when the women played a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to Coach Smith, and I was sitting right behind the players, you know, and she is fiercely competitive, and she's getting them to stay in the game, and to lead, to shake off their nervousness. You know, they were in a new setting, and you know, the crowd there was a Duke crowd and not an Elon crowd, and she's encouraging them, shake that off, lead, keep pushing, keep competing. You know, and that personal leadership on the court. And she is such a person of integrity, too, and teaching them about, you know, making the right choices in their life in total. So they become not just coaches about basketball, but coaches for life.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing. We see so many players who look up to their coaches, not just in sports, but in the whole world as like a mentor. And that's so great to see. As we move forward in athletically and academically, what are some of the challenges you think that Elon could face in that vein?
Well, I think everyone is watching the NCAA really closely right now. In fact, in my contract to be a president, there is a clause that I'm required to sign that says that I understand that I'm obligated to the NCAA guidelines and ensuring that those are executed on our campus as a Division I college president. I do think people are watching to see what about basketball. We just came out of the commission that Condoleezza Rice led that basketball commission, and we're watching to see if the NCAA and how they'll engage in the recommendations there. I think we're watching players, and want to execute some rights especially in the larger Division I schools. You know, the most influential ones are making a lot of money on video games and other things using those players' likeness, and so I think we're seeing a disrupted environment right now in athletics. And to be quite honest, there's nothing more important in the execution of athletics than that it is fair, that it's with integrity, that our recruiting on college campuses is done with integrity and transparency, that we know what's happening. You know, I'm just going to say, as college president, the thing that really I've paid close attention to over the last few months is the visibility we have of what's happening in athletics.
Right.
Now, at Elon, we have low walls, so you know I'm in good relationship. But you saw what happened at Michigan State and Penn State before that. And when people don't have visibility and are not acting with transparency, those create conditions that, quite frankly, are not good for student athletes. And so I'm grateful to be at Elon, a place where there's low walls, and I think that that's part of my responsibilities as president, is to make sure I know what's happening across campus.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, President Book, happy holidays, and thank you so much for coming on. That's all the time we have for this block, and all the time we have with President Book. We here at 101 extend a huge thank you for President Book for coming on tonight, and I'll be sitting down to discuss the best coach statements made about themselves with Andrew up next.